All right, well, Greg, we've had some interviews. It's been you and I sitting around talking a little bit, but we've made it to our 20th episode. We've had some really interesting guests. I think we want to at least try and thank some of our guests and some of the companies that they work for. But, what do you think about making it to 20 here by the end of the year? I honestly didn't think we were going to get this many in. So I'm pretty happy, pretty excited about how 2026 is going to look.
Yeah, the reception of the podcast has been really gratifying, phenomenal, surprising. We have such a tremendous production team and everybody, a lot of hard work that keeps us moving, and the passion and the excitement of the guests we've had is truly, I think, inspiring. And when you think of some of the things we're trying to do with this, Brandon, one is to pass along this knowledge, this innate and tacit knowledge that some of our guests have, trying to help them mentor in a way the people that are listening is really exciting to me. I know it's very important. And right now, we're just rocketing headlong into 2026 with all this digital IT stuff, twins, AI, everything else. And I think our guests are doing a really good job of keeping us grounded, but at the same time, being excited about the future. So it's very gratifying. I'm looking forward to 2026 and the lineup of guests we already have, and hopefully hearing from some of our listeners about topics they'd like to hear about as well. What do you think, Brandon?
Yeah, I mean it's been really nice to spread the array of guests that we've had. First definitely want to thank them for taking the time out of their days to sit down with us and have a conversation. That's been really awesome. And also their employers. I mean, they're taking time out of their day or the employers are allowing them to take time to sit down with us as well. So, across the board, all the employers of our guests. And as you mentioned, the listeners, everybody's sitting here listening, whether it's on a drive to work, whether it's mowing the grass, whatever, it's allowed us to kind of build this out a little bit and have more conversations. And honestly, for me, it's, the people the guests that we've had, a lot of people that I've heard names of, but haven't really had a conversation with.
Yeah.
So it's been really nice. I mean, I was thinking about it, some of the themes that I've kind of seen or thought of or heard as we've talked is a lot of them talked a lot about networking. A lot of them talked about the value of communication. I was really surprised. I was really surprised that John Reynolds said that networking was so important. I don't know why that struck me off guard, but it surprised me. And I don't know if it's just because, John's such a figure. And so for him to say, networking and knowing people, I felt like he just kind of knows everybody, but that's probably why, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. And I mean, the other thing, listening to a lot of the folks, a lot of the people, John, Lynne, Bobby, Clay, a lot of those folks helping build out the standards through and creating the idea of some of these standards throughout the 90s. I mean, the 90s, I'm realizing the 90s was a massive explosion of technology and communication and innovation within kind of this little niche world that we're in.
Yeah. It's exciting. I mean, I think we're at a crossroads. I almost feel like I'm at Constantinople in the Renaissance. It's as far as where we're positioned, and I think oil and gas and petrochemical and fixed equipment reliability, we had a lot of really good stuff, references with API. We're going to get into some things with ASME next year. Hopefully we'll have more ASME content. I'm sure we will. We've had some, and I'd like to get some European, Australian, Asian, global representation in the podcast in the future. So any listeners out there that are joining us right now, please don't hesitate to shoot us an email, communicate with us, and let us know if you have ideas for podcasts, guests, and why. But yeah, this is really exciting, Brandon. I can't tell you. I mean, like I said, we're at the crux, API is just starting to work on a new document covering statistical analysis use in the world of MI. We've got this whole RBI, kind of a rejuvenation of the whole RBI effort at API regarding the 581 technology, and a real uh, a massive amount of energy in the market from companies making software that are wanting to, sell their tools to improve where we are today. So I said 2025 has been exciting. 2026, I see it only getting more exciting. And it becomes even more important for us to have guests on who can share information with the audience to help them make the best decisions possible.
Well, and we going back all the way to the first guest we had, Andri. She mentioned that one of her initiatives moving forward is finding what that next certification, what that next type of job or job function is that people want to make sure that we can have a set program because they recognize that the market's changing. They see that there's a new path that we're going down. So I think a lot of people are seeing it, recognizing it, and Andrew's trying to help everybody move that forward. Throughout this year, the last however many months this has been, what were what surprised you as we were talking with some folks?
Good question. What surprised me? I think what surprised me in listening to them and then putting it all together, and this is probably not surprising to most people, is to look back at the progress we've made over the last 25, 30 years in this world of fixed equipment reliability, whether it's 579 fitness for service type progress, our design code progress, or RBI type progress, our software type progress. Looking back, we've come a long way. Non-destructive testing, NDE data manipulation, data massaging or analysis, and it's only getting better, with the advent of business intelligence software as well for the analyst, and then merging that with AI and all these other things. I think that it's surprising to look back and realize, wow, we have come a long way, but we've got a long way to go. So listening to icons like Reynolds, like John Reynolds, and visionaries, like him and Clay and Lynne, and I've just always been a big believer in listening to the people who are on the front lines and hearing what they have going on, as opposed to the people in the ivory towers. Of course, it's important to keep them educated and informed, but that's what I love about the people that we're talking with, is they're in the trenches. And sometimes I'm surprised a little bit. And again, this last time, I'm surprised at how much progress we've really made.
Yeah, I mean, listen to some of the folks coming through. Alex talking about his time down in Venezuela and the difference in the technologies that he saw there versus coming once he came up north. John talking to Reynolds talking about just being a part of building out some of the initial standards that we know. These are people that are still in the industry now. It's wild. Like, you think about oil and gas has been around for 100 years at this point, or more than 100 years. But we've got people who've helped create the safety standards and draft and develop and then redevelop and make them better. They're still here.
Yeah.
So what happens next as the next generation of people come in to create the next version or the next improvement, or we leverage the new technologies to do that? It's
Yeah.
wild.
I like what an old buddy of mine, Tom Wisherop, said in one of the blogs or one of the LinkedIn posts, that a lot of progress has been made. We're going to make progress in the future, but let's not forget that this has been built on the backs and the shoulders of the people that came before us.
Mm-hmm.
And never forget to, express our gratitude to them for the work they did. I don't know if most listeners realize that work done in places like ASME and API and I'm sure the different international organizations and other countries is gratis work. Most of that work people are not getting paid to do. And it's a lot of work. So, yeah, again, fundamentals are important. First principles engineering, they cannot be ignored. We can't just zip past those. And I think I was pleasantly surprised to hear that frequently brought up by our guests, because I get concerned sometimes that sometimes we get distracted by the next shiny object of the day and we take our eye off of the ball. And it just was a really nice surprise to hear most of our guests weren't just jumping on the AI bandwagon as a clever thing to say. They would invoke the term AI once in a while at appropriate times, but always with willing to say, hey, we've got to stay firmly grounded because we've got to keep people safe in the plants and we've got to keep the plants reliable.
Yeah, John and Clay were two pretty big ones on that, talking about how it's there, but you got to be somewhat cautious of it. Bill was kind of in that same boat as well. John literally said it was like a grad student, which I thought was a great way to explain it. Does a good job of pulling up information, putting it together, but you still got to check it. You still got to make sure that you agree with what it says. Yeah. And Lynne mentioned first principles a few times when we talked with her in the development of the RBI methodology.
Yeah. I mean, and Lynne, yeah, she was great having on and just a really good lesson. And we don't realize how much we're impacting other people too. So when we're out there doing a good job, being conscientious, trying to be our best, that's a good thing because other people are watching and we never know how we're going to impact them and encourage them. I'm trying to think of another. I mean, we had so many good interviews and so many good reinforcements.
One of my whys as doing this was knowledge transfer, but also trying to humanize and have a conversation and let everybody see, we're all people, whether it's, somebody that I put on a pedestal like John Reynolds or whoever, it's still just a person that you sit down and talk with. So hearing hearing that he survived a wildfire
Yeah.
was absolutely wild to me. And also, what was it? Bobby was on top of what survived, was it a hurricane or a tornado?
A tornado.
Yeah, Bobby being on a tornado. I mean, come on, like those are just in some of it like insane. I remember when Bobby said it, I was like, hold on a second. In my brain, I was like, wait a minute, like a tornado? I'm sorry. Let's go through that a little bit. And same thing, like John. Oh yeah, we were floating down the river up in Alaska, and there was a wildfire that came through, and just amazing some of the stories that people have that not until you sit down and talk to them that you really can pull those out.
And what's nice is we've archived all those conversations. If the listeners want to go to listen to those, they have that at their availability. And we're really looking forward to next year. And hopefully we'll do a great job in 2026 and get even more engagement from the community. Keep moving forward, progress, continuous improvement.
Yeah, next year is going to be fun. We've got, as you mentioned, we've got a good lineup of folks set up already. We'll be at the Inspection Summit, so we'll be hosting I guess they call it, there's a round table. Is that what they're calling it?
Yeah.
We'll be hosting a panel discussion with the Graybeards. So that'll be good. That's really exciting. Yeah, I think again, just trying to bring folks on that have, I mean, everybody has a story to tell. And they have a little nugget or they have a little piece that is theirs. It's their story. And so allowing them the opportunity to have that conversation, but also allowing the listeners the opportunity to learn from all of it. My piece is I tell this to each guest before they come on. If somebody can walk away from here with just one little piece, ooh, I want to try that management style. Oh, networking is the really important thing. I'm going to try and make an effort to go talk to at least one person, one new person at each conference. Whatever it is, if there's something that some person can take away from each of these episodes or each of these conversations, that's my goal. yeah, I'm hoping that moving forward into 26, we can do the same thing.
Yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to the inspection summit. I'm glad you brought that up. It's going to be in San Antonio this summer, 2026. I'm looking forward to a fantastic event there and other podcast opportunities too. Hopefully, maybe we can do some impromptu podcasting interviews with some of the people that'll be there from all over the world. And I can't say too how much we appreciate all of our community, whether you're in Asia or Europe or Africa or South America, wherever you are, we're welcome and proud to have you with us. So please give us your input. Please don't feel like you can't communicate with us and be a part of this discussion, because you can.
Yep. We're on LinkedIn. Upon further inspection, you can find us on LinkedIn, find us on the website, uponfurtherinspection.com. And if you're listening to this, you've probably already found us on any one of the places where you can get all your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, wherever else. Yeah, Greg, with that, I mean, happy that we've had a successful 2025 and really looking forward to 2026.
Same here, Brandon. Thanks. Happy New Year, everybody. Have a happy and prosperous and a safe 2026.
Thank you for listening to Upon Further Inspection, a mechanical integrity podcast. This episode was co-created by Inspectioneering and Core Solutions. Our producers are Nick Schmoyer, Jocelyn Christie, and Jeremiah Wooten. This podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute legal or professional advice. Listeners should seek their own qualified advisors for guidance. If you enjoyed this episode, please join us next time wherever you listen to your podcasts. Until then, stay safe and stay informed.